Okay, with nothing to lose, we decided to go ahead and just cut it at that first weld, or the actually second weld. The first weld was right underneath these spring hooks, right? We were thinking about cutting it there too, and I thought, well, if we just rotate it upside down, we're doing the same thing, right? So if we go 180 upside down, that's already looking good, isn't it, folks? Make sure we get this cut not angled this way and not angled this way, but straight up and down, and we'll go ahead and index it with the top bolt when we figure it out. But this looks pretty good already. Remember, we want this flange at the end of the pipe that accepts the U-tube to be parallel with the rear axle, and it is. So I already like that. I think we're in the ballpark right there. So at this point, we're gonna have to index to make sure we got this sitting where we want it, then index in between these two after I clean up the outside and the inside. I think part of the problem we're having with the tacks here is the pipe itself was so rusty on the inside. I cleaned it up as best I could with a file, but I really should have now, I mean, you know, hindsight 2020, get in there with a rotary file on a 90, although you couldn't really get a tool in there. It would have been a lot of handwork trying to remove that rust, but we could have done ourselves, well, Richie, a big favor by removing a bunch of that, because he's going to have a hard time welding this thing. At this point, I don't care what it looks like. I'm going to do something I've never done before when this thing's done, and I'm going to paint it with high heat black paint. I never paint my pipes because I like to take the Scotch-Brite wheel and clean them up and make them look nice. When the first time you run them, they get that nice purple effect to them that looks really cool. You know, those Scotchies, the Scotch-Brite thing, they don't remove any metal, so you could do it a bunch of times. Keep your pipe looking nice and cool. Rub some, I use transmission fluid, and once it gets hot, it almost gets like a clear glaze to it, you know. So that's what we're gonna do. We'll go ahead and get this straight with the exhaust flange, right? Not like this, and not like this. You know, I'm exaggerating, but straight up and down. We'll go ahead and mark this to index it so it doesn't move. And we'll clean all this up, clean up the inside. We'll put an index mark directly on the top. We'll line this up as best we can, cleaning this, and put an index mark on this, and then, you know, then we just connect the two marks where we want it, with this staying parallel with the axle back here, right? And I'm sorry about the camera work, but I'm doing the best I can here, folks. So then what we'll do is we'll put a couple tacks on it, and then we'll bring it back over, and we'll mock it up with something here to hold the pipe in place. And if we like it, we'll go ahead and add a few more tacks, and then we're done for the day. We'll just wait for Rich to come over and do the welding tomorrow, or take it with him to work, and he can do it at work if he wants to. Really up to him. He may get frustrated, you know. When you're working with old dirty stuff, man, it's never fun, you know. Imagine getting underneath your car with your 110 MIG welder trying to weld a piece of pipe on to fix somebody's muffler for them or exhaust for them, and you're working with all this old rusty crap. It doesn't matter how much you grind it and clean it, the back side of it is still rusty. So when you see the heat pattern here, that's heating all the way through, and when it heats through, the rust starts jumping off literally like a sparkler that the little kids run around with on the board. Just like that, sparks are flying, and when that happens, the arc off the tungsten gets erratic. It won't heat in a uniform, centrally, you know, located area, which you need to do to get the metal fluid, so you can add that little filler. You know, and if the fluid puddle is moving around, or it won't form, and the thing's sparking like crazy, you know what's going to happen? Richard's going to be cussing his brains out tomorrow. So let me go ahead and clean the stuff up, index everything. I'll get it tacked in place, and we'll bring you back for the final one for today. Thanks for hanging with us. We got a little bit of snow out there. We got about 2 inches of snow, and we're going to have 3 40-degree day, so it's most of it probably going to be gone here. But that's okay. We're not going to let the snow get us down. Hang in there, y'all. It'll get better. We're getting it.